EA have messed up. And what do I mean by this? Well, obviously, I'm talking about the big company Electronic Arts, and more specifically in the gaming scene with Formula One and FC or FIFA. So I have recently just bought FC 25 and F1 24, as it was recently my 21st birthday. Um, and I've also read a lot of comments about this on other people's videos, and I sort of wanted to put my opinion on how I think EA have gone around developing games over the last couple of years. Um, I will start with FIFA or FC because I am more passionate about the F1 games, so I'll get onto that bit in a second. But for FC 25 and like starting from like FC 20, like FIFA 23, FC 24, FC 25, um, a lot of things that I've seen online, and I can also agree because I am one of those players that doesn't pay to win. I don't spend money on any sort of FIFA points. I don't buy packs. I don't do anything like that. I am a type of road to glory player that builds their team around the packs that they complete from objectives objectives and SBC players that they unlock throughout the game cycle. But so that means that for any people who have pre-ordered the game or people who are pay-to-win players, I will come up against people like that in Foot Champs or Division Rivals who have got a full special team within the first 4 days of the game being out. And I don't think that's a very level playing field. Bearing in mind that Division Rivals, obviously, if you know how FIFA works and how Division Rivals works, it's a progression ladder from Div 10 being the lowest division from Div 1 and the elite divisions being the top and highest divisions. And all of the Division Rivals divisions are based on skill level. So for me, for example, I can never get past Division 7 as that's the level that I'm at. My younger brother, for example, he sometimes gets to Div 5 and Div 4. It all depends on the level of skill that you're at. However, it also depends on the level of the skill and the teams that you build on the way. Like my team currently in the FC 25 cycle, it's only been out for a couple weeks. As the Trailblazers promo has just come out, and that's only the second promo if you don't count informs that have been released so far. And some of the teams that I've come up against in Div Rivals, they've got like icons in their team. They've got Total Rush players. They've got like Foot Champ rewards that you can only get by completing Foot Champs. And I just think that EA, because the problem this year, especially with FC 25, is that they released like 400,000 coin packs and 200,000 coin packs within like the first 4 days of the game being out, and I only got the game a couple like last week, and the game has been out for 2 or 3 weeks now. So my team is still relatively new. The only sort of special cards that I've gotten are ones that I've packed, not bought. But like the EA seem to release promo packs really, really early into the game. Like I imagine they do it obviously for the people who have the pre-order edition, for people who are content creators who want to use that for content. But really, they should bring back lightning rounds where they release like 400 or so of those big promo packs, but they're only around for like 15 minutes, and then once everyone's bought them, they're all gone. They don't restock them, redo them every hour or so. But that's sort of my feud in terms of Ultimate Team. But also other things about FC 25 that I don't particularly like, in the sense that EA have messed up, in the sense that when they release their patch notes, like for pre-launch of the game coming out, they always promise all of these new things in their trailers, like this new sort of FIFA IQ thing that they've released, or like more like every time that you now foul a player on the pitch, it's instantly a yellow card. Like every foul is now a yellow card. I've played this game now for a couple of weeks, as you know, and the referees have seemed to become more inconsistent, not more consistent, more inconsistent, in the sense that the decisions that are made in some of the games are ridiculous. Like, for example, me and my brother, we played FIFA together at one point, and I played against him, and he would be given a foul that wasn't a foul. Like I would get booked for something that blatantly wasn't a foul. I got the ball, and then he went to tackle me, and it was a red card foul offence, and it wasn't given as a decision whatsoever. Or the offsides are a bit more are a bit weird now. Like sometimes they're given offsides for like even the line shows like they're not past the line. Like they're not really offside, and I just think if EA or whatever or whoever sees this video, I think in the next patch they need to think about maybe making the refereeing the consistency that they promised at the start of the game, because at the moment the reviews for the game post launch were all like 2-star, like 1 stars, 2 stars, saying that the gameplay is worse than previous FIFAs and FC games. And I don't think the gameplay, I'm a huge fan of the gameplay in my opinion, just because it suits my style of play. I'm not one to like do quick passes and long balls and things. I like to take things slow, and the sort of the slower realistic gameplay sort of suits my style of play this year. But that's sort of my issues with the FIFA games this year. But moving on now to the F1 games. I was debating getting F1 24. I put it on my birthday list, but then I bought it with the vouchers that I got for my birthday. But the reviews on it were really, really bad. Like they were saying that it's like EA have made this game a pay-to-win game. They've made, the handling is really cut and shut. Like the handling is shocking. The AI are too overpowered once again, and I needed to see for myself. So when I bought the game a couple of days ago, I've now been playing the game, and I've got to say, I am a big fan of the physics. I am a big fan of the handling. I don't agree with what a lot of people have been saying about the handling model. I do think that it's definitely a lot grippier, and it's definitely a lot more realistic to real-life F1 cars, how they can go flat for a lot of corners. Because I think my biggest complaint with the last game, F1 23, was the fact that the cars felt so heavy. Like, you would go into a corner, and instead of sticking to the apex, it would always drift wide, and I would always end up in the gravel. So I had to take the corner so much slower, meaning I lost so much exit speed. And the AI, obviously, because they're AI, they are programmed to follow the racing lines, and they're programmed to do it effortlessly. I always lost so much time in the corners for all the time that I used up for the rest of the lap. And I just think the handling is fine, but some of the issues that I do have with this new F1 game is I do agree with what a lot of creators have been saying about the AI being really overpowered. I think in the corners they're okay, like they still make a lot of mistakes, and I will talk about a thing that I am actually quite happy about, which is the wet weather in this game now is so much more realistic. Like in F1 23, it felt like, to me at least, it felt like you still had enough grip that you had in the dry. But in this game, you actually feel the car like sliding, and you have to sort of get control in the corners. Like you can actually feel like there's less grip now in the corners in the wet, and I really like that touch. As well as whenever you go off the road on this new F1 game now, you actually get a bit of dirt that gets chucked up onto the camera, and I quite like that little touch. But there are, as I say, back to the AI, I do think that, especially with DRS, they are heavily overpowered. Like, I could be, 1.7 seconds ahead of the car behind me, and after just one straight. Take China, for example, the back straight on the Chinese Grand Prix going before the last couple corners of the start-finish straight. That long back straight, I could be 2 seconds ahead of the car behind me. And just in that one straight, they've closed the gap to about 0.5 of a second, so they're within DRS range for the next straight. I do think the AI are a bit too overpowered in that element. If, and I do recommend this to any new players or people who do play F124 and know what I'm on about, obviously the ERS regulations and with the update, a bug seemed to have slipped, so now you get double the amount of ERS usage that you would get in a normal lap. But I actually have I've found a loophole to fix that, which is if you turn the ERS assist on in the settings, because then the computer manages all the ERS for you, and I've found that it's a lot more consistent and I actually can keep up with the AI a lot better. So that's just a little tip for anyone who plays the game and is finding the AI to use the ERS so much better than we do, the normal players do. Turn on the ERS assist, because I know it's obviously an assist, but it actually helps in the long run. But that's just something I found. But that's really it, really. I do think EA has messed up a little bit, and I do hope that they do fix that in the future. Oh yeah, and one thing before I forget, another thing which I do agree with content creators on is the fact that EA have, obviously Codemasters make the F1 games, but EA nowadays seem to have a lot more of a grip on what the developers, how they make the game. And I'm a little bit disappointed because now when you load onto the F1 game, and Aarava has made the video on this, so I'll put in the description. But Aarava, a well-known F1 content creator, he touched on this, saying that now when you load into the game, under F124, it has a little banner that says Season 3. And it's an F1 game. We're meant to be living the life of an F1 driver, not being chucked into a Fortnite style scenario where we've got like season passes and things like that, where you can unlock like a brand of shoes for your character and stuff. It's just ridiculous. Like it's an F1 game, for crying out loud. You're living the life of an F1 driver, you know, starting at the bottom team, working your way through F2, getting into F1, being signed by other teams in secret meetings and making your way to the top. And the fact that they've tried to chuck in as many like F1 World Challenges, pay-to-win challenges as possible is ridiculous. I don't like that. I'm a traditional F1 guy who grew up playing F1 2010, 2011, and I like those old-style sort of games. But maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm a bit of an old fart. But that's just my view. And that is probably where I'll wrap up today's video on my sort of complaints and dislikings to the way EA are managing games at the moment. But if you agree with me or disagree with me, please put it in the comments down below. Like and subscribe if you're new. And I will see you all in the next video.